Hey, good afternoon, everyone. How are you? How's your week going? So, I wanted to jump on, answer some of your questions by popular request. Then, you wanted to know about some things that you can use for cleansing. So, I am going to show you some of the products I use and why, and how I use them, and how much, and all that stuff. And then when I'm done with this video, then I will post some links below in the comments for you to get them yourself if you want them. So we've talked a lot about, or we started to talk a lot about the importance of cleansing and detoxing and how that really affects your intensity and volume of sugar cravings. And we've talked how a lot of the sugar cravings, the voice of the sugar cravings is actually the voice of pathogenic critters gone rogue, I call them, in your gut that are asking to be fed. And those critters can be bacteria, yeast, mold, microorganisms that are not health enhancing, and especially parasites. So if you have traveled to different countries, if you traveled much, and if you have a diet that is high in animal product with a lot of meat, then you'll have parasites. And they can produce all kinds of problems, and lots of times they go by unnoticed because in the conventional medical world, then they don't think to look for those. But when you understand the principles of natural health, like we talk about here, and understand how the body functions and what you need to do to maintain a healthy body, then the idea of cleansing and getting rid of the bugs and the worms and the critters and the parasites becomes paramount. As I've mentioned before, I think I've probably mentioned it to you guys here. All disease and all health begins and ends in the gut. If you have health problems, their source is in the gut and how you've taken care of your digestive system, which is largely determined by what you put in your mouth. So if you need to rebuild and restore your body, even if that part is organs like your brain or joints or other tissues that are outside of your digestive system, you still ultimately have to go back to your digestive system and clean that up and rebuild it in order for that other organ or that other body part to be rebuilt. And that all goes back again to diet and cleansing. The two main factors in all disease of any kind, doesn't matter where, doesn't matter the name, the ultimate cause of all disease is, number one, malnutrition. We've talked about that before as one of the factors for creating sugar cravings. The other one is toxic overload in the internal environment of your body. And I've talked about this before too in the class we did a couple of weeks ago about the importance of paying attention to the internal environment and cleaning that out. Because when that gets stagnant and built up, then that invites in all kinds of pathogenic critters. And the bacteria change their function in your body to deal with their environment, and the end result is disease. A dirty environment will strongly encourage your genetics to express according to what the environment is. So if you're not creating a very good environment, then your genes are going to express accordingly, and thus initiates the production or the disease progression of things. So let's look at some products. I've got like half a dozen of them here that I have all used, and I use whenever I do a cleanse, then I use one or more of these products. So I'll share them with you and what they do and where you can get them. So the first one, I've mentioned the guy named Don Tolman that I've learned a lot from in terms of holistic natural health and the wisdom that ancient cultures had. He's got a son named Tyler Tolman that has carried on, or is carrying on, his work. And Tyler lives in Bali. He's from the United States, but he lives in Bali. And one of the products he has is, you can see this, Tyler Tolman's Colon Cleanse. You can get this online. I'll leave the link for you. This is a very effective, good colon cleanse. I've used it many, many times. You can see that the bag is kind of worn. So this has in it organic products. With everything, you want to make sure that the products are as clean and organic and pure as possible. So this has psyllium, buckwheat, chia seeds, bentonite clay, and salt in it. And so how you do this, he recommends doing this in a 4 or 5 day cleanse process. So what you'll do is you'll mix a couple of tablespoons, work up to a couple of tablespoons, even if you have to just start with a teaspoon or so, but work up to a couple of tablespoons, and you stir it in some water. I'll do a little metal whisk to stir it up because it's kind of a thick thing. It doesn't really mix very easily unless you really stir it. I've also put it in a blender, and it whips it up nicely that way. You can use warm water or cold water. I like to warm the water up a little bit so that it's like a warm drink thing that you make. Sometimes you can put in a little bit of raw honey just to sweeten it. He actually, suggests to do that because by itself the taste is kind of funny. And if you're going to do that, then make sure it's organic, raw, and unfiltered honey. That means when you look at the jar, it's solid. It's crystallized. So much of the honey on the market is, like most things, so overly processed and grossly adulterated that all of the nutrients and antioxidants and minerals have been taken out of it. And the end result you have is that clear, very runny, liquidy stuff that they sell as honey. But it's too adulterated. So if you're going to use honey, then make sure it's raw, it's not filtered, and it's crystallized, it's solid. So you just scoop it out a little bit, stir it up with this. And you'll want to take this definitely morning and night for 4 or 5 days. And then he suggests even doing it 4 or 5 times throughout the day. So like every couple of hours, every 2 or 3 hours, take a serving of this for about a 4 or 5 day period. And that will do a very effective colon cleanse for your large and small intestines. So what all of these ingredients do, and these other ones that I show you, they are designed to act as brooms on the intestinal wall, especially the small intestines. Like the psyllium, the buckwheat, the chia seed, those act like brooms to sweep out the gunk that line the intestinal wall. And then the things like bentonite clay and the couple other things I'm going to show you, they absorb, they draw and pull out other toxins, other impurities, heavy metals especially. I want to say glyphosate and aluminum, but I think there's some other things that are specifically targeted for that, and I'll do that later. But they help draw out a lot of heavy metals and things that really foul up your digestive tract and your ability for your body to absorb nutrients through the intestinal wall. When the intestinal wall breaks down, that's when you get leaky gut, and then you're setting yourself up for all kinds of problems. Okay, so this next one. So there's bentonite clay mentioned in this. And then you can also get it plain. This is the Great Plains brand. You can get this on Amazon, and you can get this in most health food stores if you have a Sprouts or a Natural Grocers or something like that in your area. Whole Foods will also have this, any kind of a health food store. It's a very common brand. But it's bentonite clay, and in this form it's kind of a muddy, liquidy type of a consistency, whereas in Tyler's formula it's more powder. But this you can mix in with, what does it say, like a tablespoon once or twice a day So again, you on an empty stomach. Both of these you do on an empty stomach, morning and night. And you mix it in with some water. You can do a little bit of juice to it. It really doesn't taste bad. I've tasted many things worse than this. But you can, mix it up to a tablespoon in liquid and suck it down. If you want to have a little bit more of an effective cleanse, you could do some of this and add in a little bit of extra of this and mix it together for your cleansing concoction. The next thing is activated charcoal. And this is highly, highly effective for drawing out heavy metals, impurities, all kinds of toxins, and all kinds of unnamed things that tend to prowl through your gut. This is the brand from Bulletproof. You can get this online. This is in capsules. So sometimes I've had a meal where afterwards I feel bloaty or gassy, and I can tell some inflammation's going on, and it's like definitely my body did not like what I ate. And so what I will do is take a couple of capsules of this, and it helps calm it down. I'll also rub on my belly Digest. You can also take that internally. You can also do peppermint essential oil. Just rub it on topically. Fennel. What else is in there? Let me look up the blend of Digest. There's all kinds of really good things in there that you can use the oils individually, or you can use as the blend. You can use these oils with any of these products or that I'm telling you about to just kind of add an oomph to your cleansing. Give me just a second. Let me find the ingredients in Digest. So how you would use the oils is you'd mix up your concoction. Say if you're going to mix up Tyler's thing with some water and a little bit of honey, and then you'd throw in 2 or 3 drops of some essential oils and suck that down. Digest. Okay. It has tarragon essential oil, ginger, peppermint, juniper, fennel, anise, patchouli, and lemongrass. So you can use those oils individually, or you can use it as the blend. Any of these you can rub on topically if you have had a meal that your body didn't agree with, or you can drop any of those oils in with any of these cleaning things. So this is the capsules of the activated charcoal. You can also get it in pure powder. This particular stuff is really fine. Well, all charcoal is really fine, but some charcoals are even more fine, so you need to be really careful that it doesn't spill. Then you have a lovely mess all over your kitchen. So this, again, you would want to take up to a tablespoon for detoxification of the intestines, to help with bloating, gas, diarrhea, or any type of distress to your digestive tract. You take a tablespoon of this and a glass of water up to 2 to 6 times a day. So if you're doing a real intense regime, then you'd want to do it that often. Otherwise, you just do it a couple times a day, like morning and night. You can take it 1 to 2 hours before or after your meal. Hey, Stephanie, thanks for tuning in. Yeah, Digest is one of my favorite ones. I use it a lot too. You want to, if you're going to do this, you want to make sure that you take it 2 hours away from food, because it will draw and suck out, nutrients from the foods you eat. So like this would be something you would do right before bed. And then you can probably mix it in with, say, something like Tyler's combination for doing a really thorough cleanse. And you can also use this for toothpaste. You can mix it with coconut oil and do oil pulling, which is very good. Sometimes I'll mix coconut oil with some essential oils, but then I also make a toothpaste with coconut oil, some of this, several essential oils, some bicarbonate of soda, and that just kind of amps up the effectiveness of the Thieves toothpaste that I already use. So this is really good for a lot of different things. And I'll leave a link to where you can get this. All right, the next product, diatomaceous earth. Kind of sounds funny, but this is a really excellent thing to have. It has a lot of different uses, both internally for your gut and for internal cleansing, as well as just cleaning your home and for pets and for plants. This is food grade, so you can take it internally. I guess there's other things on the market, other types of diatomaceous earth on the market that are not food grade. But this is very good for drawing and pulling out all of the noxious toxins, chemicals and stuff in our food. You could probably use this for heavy metals. Even glyphosate would probably be affected. You could be able to pull some of that out with this as well as the charcoal. Because glyphosate is in everything. It gets into everything and it wreaks havoc with our gut. So what you would do with this is do like a teaspoon to a tablespoon, and you could mix it in with the bentonite clay, with the charcoal. You just stir it up, suck it down a couple times a day, or like night and morning. And then if you're doing a more intensive one, then you'd want to do all this like 4 times a day. So diatomaceous earth is amorphous non-crystalline silica. And silica is a very common mineral that's found in just everything. It's non-toxic. It's safe for humans and animals. You can use it for a facial mask. And it's an exfoliant for your skin to get off dead skin cells. You can use it to clean your teeth with. You can also use it, soak your nails in this to strengthen your fingernails in some like this in water, where it's just silica, and nails have some of that in there. It's helpful for your garden. It's a good amendment for soil. For house plants, you can mix in like a combination of 1/4 of this to 3/4 of the soil for house plants, and it's very helpful for them. Gives them some trace minerals. You can use it outside in your flower garden to help preserve and to restore flower bulbs. So you just mix it in with the dirt there. It's good for keeping the odors and stuff out of your refrigerator and freezer. It's good for kitty litter, to throw some of this in there to get rid of the odors, and it absorbs moisture. And in your vacuum cleaner bags, you can throw some of this in there to help with deodorizing. So you could mix this with some essential oils and put into all of those things with your plants, your vacuum cleaners, your kitty litters, your garbage cans, and then for your skincare as well as internally. So this can be used for 100 different things. This one I found at Sprouts. So you could probably get it online at Amazon, but you could also get it locally very easily. Sprouts, Natural Grocers, Whole Foods, or a health food store in your area. This brand is called Lumino, but I'm sure there'd be other brands out there too that would be just as good. But you'd want to get something that is food grade that you could take internally for your intestinal cleansing. All right, next up we have intestinal drawing formula. And this is by a brand called Health Force Nutritionals. This is a really good quality brand. They've got a lot of different products. Several of them are for cleaning. They have some other products that have the diatomaceous earth in it and have the charcoal and the bentonite clay. They also have some supplements that are very nourishing and to rebuild the gut lining, the intestinal tract. It has minerals, herbs, all kinds of things in it. So check out this brand. You can find them locally in stores. like Amazon, Natural Grocers, Sprouts. It's a very well-known brand. You can also find it online in Amazon and then their own website. So this particular formula is an intestinal drying formula, and this has, let me see what it has. Flax seed, slippery elm bark, marshmallow root, nopal cactus leaf, carob pod, kelp, carob is a bean, kelp, plantain leaf, and activated charcoal. So it's similar to the charcoal. The slippery elm, it's an herb. It's been used forever for intestinal tract soothing and calming and healing. And it's a mucilaginous, meaning when you mix the herb, the bark, the elm bark, slippery elm bark, in with water, then it turns kind of mucousy, kind of slimy. And that helps strengthen and preserve and rebuild the mucus lining of the intestinal tract. Because when that gets compromised, then that's what sets you the condition for inflammation. When that mucus lining to protect is no longer there, or it's been hampered with, then it's easier to get inflamed and irritated and bloated out. So what you will do with this, you will take 1 teaspoon, start with a teaspoon and go up to a tablespoon a day. And then you take with 8 to 16 ounces of water or juice. And then you also want to make sure that you're having a healthy, clean diet. A lot of plant-based, a lot of vegetables and fruits and everything with it. But this you can mix like morning and night. So sometimes what I've done is I'll do a little bit of this, a little bit of the diatomaceous earth, and a little bit of the charcoal, mix all that stuff together night and morning and suck it down. And then you can also add in the bentonite clay and into that concoction. If you need to, add a little bit of something like honey to sweeten it. So those are the primary things that I use for intestinal cleansing. And they're all very effective. They're all very reasonably priced. They'll last a long time. And if you use it on a consistent basis, then it will go miles towards helping you have a healthy, happy, calm gut without the bloating, inflammation, and all kinds of irritations and things that can come. One last thing. You can also use Epsom salt, provided it says on the label that it's for internal use. The salt has a lot of magnesium and calcium in it, and so that's also you can soak in it, which is very helpful for sore muscles, but with it being a magnesium-based salt, that is also very cleansing for the gut. So you could take up to a teaspoon or tablespoon of that in the morning. Sometimes people will do apple cider vinegar, lemon, essential oils in the morning and suck that down, and that just helps wake up the intestinal tract and helps move things out in the morning that need to be, so that you can start your day all fresh. So those are some suggestions. So I'd love to hear from you. Which one of these or multiple ones have you used before? And which ones would you like to start using? I'm going to be doing a couple more videos about other things that you can do for cleanses, and then we can do a group activity of cleansing our clacker. So let me know how you, what you gained from this, what you found of most value, and which of these products you'd like to try out next. And with that, drop a comment below, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks so much for tuning in.